All right, got another special guest here.
Raph the King, King of Rio.
Raphael the King, King of Rio.
You know what I mean?
And I know Raphael through YouTube and Instagram, and he's a Brazil veteran. So you were actually born in Brazil, right?
Yeah, I was born here and left the country when I was 13, 14 years old. That time.
So you left Brazil when you were 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
And you went to the U.S. Where'd you end up in the U.S.?
Boston,
Massachusetts.
Yeah, Boston, Massachusetts, and I lived there for like 22 years.
Okay.
Then I moved to San Diego, stayed there for 8 months, and then I moved back to Brazil.
Okay. Now you speak Portuguese fluent.
Yes, I do.
And also you lived in San Diego for a time?
Yeah, for 8 months.
8 months?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. So what struck me about Raphael is that Raphael is really good with communicating with the ladies.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, let's put it that way. I'll just put it that way. He's he's one of the best I've seen down here as far as, being able to, communicate with the brasileiros here. And
the top tier.
The top tier.
You know what I mean?
I call him Rico Suave. Rico Suave in Brazil.
Man, I think you should get there a little bit, you know what I mean, right there.
What's that?
The subscribers a little right here in front of us.
Okay, let me pan.
Just a little something.
Let me pan right here.
Yeah, but that's enough. That's good.
Okay.
That's good enough.
So how do you compare, since you're so, well entrenched in Brazilian culture and American culture,
yeah.
How do you compare the two cultures as far as your life in, the United States and here?
Oh man, it's different in a lot of ways. It all depends on what subject we're talking about, you know. I would say in the U.S. it's easier, relatively easier to make it. Part of it is because the economy is stronger. And hold on a second.
So you said
so economically the U.S. is better. If you're trying to make that happen, obviously you want to stay in the U.S. Even though today's a global economy, but not everyone can operate at that level. So keeping it simple, the U.S. is better for economic reasons, and generally speaking, is a little safer.
Hold on one sec, got a helicopter.
Should you order water and the juice?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, it's a little safer, but that doesn't mean that there isn't safe places in Brazil.
Right, exactly. That's a big misconception that people have,
Yeah, por favor.
that
Valeu, irmão.
that Brazil is a third world country and this and that, which is not really true. Because it's
not
people.
true. It's just like every country, you have to know where to go.
Right.
And just like in the U.S., if you go to some areas, you don't want to walk around those areas, right? But some countries, they get, this kind of reputation because the crime rate is higher, right? But then you're generalizing at a national level.
Right.
And obviously there's data based on states and cities, but there's a lot of cities in Brazil that are safe that you can come to. But that's why, and also the bad things, that's what gets spread in the media everywhere, right?
Right.
No one talks about the great things very often. But there's a lot of safe places in Brazil that, like Florianópolis, that you don't even have to worry about anything, and you just the vibe too. You just feel safe. You just have to know where to go.
Now, one common subject with regard to Brazil are the ladies here. How would you explain the difference in dating between the United States and Brazil, since you're very well versed on both sides?
On both sides of the equation.
Both sides.
So I've always been, even in U.S., Boston's the hardest place to get with women. There's a lot of reasons for that culturally, compared to other even states in the U.S. Right? There's a huge difference between, let's say, Boston and Miami, or Boston and San Diego, right? But I've always been good with girls, even in Boston, which is the hardest place to get with girls. Never had a problem. You know, so you should definitely aim a little. Está bem. So, I don't think the subscribers got that, bro. What just happened?
What happened?
Yeah, so you cut that, right?
Yeah.
He saw that. I'm just gonna explain what happened. Don't cut this from the video.
No, I'm not gonna cut it. I'm not gonna cut it.
So basically, the girl with the fat ass that you just filmed a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
When she turned, she kind of showed me her boob and smiled at me, and now she put her bikini back on, and he saw that. That's why I was like, hey, and I told her, hey, you look good. I was just trying to be nice.
Right.
But if she's not my type though, but you know, as you know, I'm very polite.
Right.
Anyway, so back to the top. What were we talking about?
The differences between dating in the U.S. and dating
Oh
here.
yeah. So yeah, she does have fat ass though. But in the U.S., I would say I'm just gonna simplify this, right? You get a better return on your investment, dating-wise, here in Brazil. Thank you. Obrigado. Deixa eu te perguntar uma coisa, vocês cortam o coco depois? Corta pra pegar a carninha? Show de bola, irmão. Obrigado. Qual é o seu nome?
Samir.
Valeu, Samir. Obrigado. They cut the meat here. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically you're just gonna get a better return on your investment in Brazil, and here's what I mean, right? Let's say in US, you're a guy that is always pulling a 7, okay? And 7 is like an acceptable level. And a 10 would be fucking like a girl who's really pretty face-wise and really hot body-wise. If I try to think of an example, maybe a 10, level 10 would be let's say a Kim Kardashian. We all know she has a pretty face and she has a nice body, that sort of thing. That's a 10. When we talk here on this team, that's a 10. Just so you can get acquainted. But let's say you pull 7s in the US. When you come to Brazil, you're gonna be able to pull 9s. Like the level is gonna be better beauty-wise. When it comes to the money, when you take a girl to a nice restaurant here, you're gonna spend less money because of the currency conversion.
Right.
So you're gonna pay 4 times less than you would on a date in the US. And time-wise too, when you go out with a girl here, if you take her out on a date or a restaurant, and you know she's really appreciative of that, so most likely you're gonna take her home and you're gonna have a good night. So you get a better return on the beauty level, on your time, and money. So those are the benefits of coming to a country like Brazil, or even some other South American countries like Colombia or what have you. These are the main. While in the US, you already know the deal. Like, if you take a girl out, might take a little longer. I'm generally speaking, because I don't like those idiots that come up. Oh, but this happened once.
Right.
We're talking generally speaking.
Right.
Here. Yeah, I've been out with many dates in the US where I took the girl home on the first date. That happens. It's not what we're talking about here. So, so that happens more in Brazil. Girls flake less here to get their contact and you build rapport. You know, if you tell a girl, hey, let's go out sometime, get to know each other better, the flake rate is much lower here. It's not like in the US, sometimes you get a girl's number and she doesn't respond or whatever, for whatever reason. You know, the flake rate in the US is much higher. So overall, you know, and culturally the girls here are more feminine, and as a man you should know what that is.
Right.
And they're looking more forward to have a relationship instead of trying to play the extreme feminism, I don't need a man type card.
Right.
Again, generally speaking, out of 1,000 girls in Brazil, 90% are feminine, while in the U.S., out of 1,000, probably 300 or less are feminine.
Right. And people like to bring, one of the talking points that detractors like to bring up is that, oh, feminism is growing, it's spreading, but I don't see it really gaining traction here the way it has in the U.S. and Canada and other places, because this is still a patriarchal society.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that, and that's because of the culture.
Right.
It's just different out here, in other South American countries as well. So that's a benefit for a man who's trying to find a good girl.
Right.
And who's going to appreciate you as a man.
So it's one thing for people to hear me saying these things. It's another thing to hear a native Brazilian who's been on both sides of the fence say it, because coming from your lips, it's more powerful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a little more powerful.
Yeah. And again, that doesn't mean you can't find a good girl in the U.S. I'm not saying that.
Right.
And I'm going to repeat this for the 10th time. Right? Generally speaking, like and I hope your subscribers know what that means. Because I hate when people try to mention one examples of something and it's one data point. I'm talking about averages.
Right.
So
nobody's saying that American women in general, that you can't find a good girl in America.
Exactly.
Nobody's saying that. I'm talking about, we're speaking general terms here.
Right.
Just like not all women here are peaches and cream.
Exactly.
You got a lot of girls that are nice. You got some girls that are not so nice. You got some girls that are straight up bitches here.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So yeah, we're just speaking in general terms.
Right.
But yeah, we're just speaking in general terms. I mean, this is a guy, he actually gets women in the United States. So people like to use that argument, oh, you can't get girls in the United States, that's why you come to Brazil. I mean, that's
a very ignorant way of thinking. It's not about because it's not a black and white conversation. It's not two extremes.
Right.
It's like you're gonna get a better return. So let's say if you get 7s, like I mentioned before, you might get 8s and 9s here.
Right.
If you get 9s, you might get 10s.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get 10s in the US all the time, which is likely not the case for all your subscribers, because those guys are pretty rare, you have to be rich and most likely ultra handsome, which is a rare combination. It's not your scenario. And I know that. So, yeah, if you pull 10s all the time, Kim Kardashians all the time, you're that type of guy in the US, then you're good.
Right.
Then you have nothing to worry about. And if those girls, not only on the beauty subject, and they're feminine, and they're the type of girls that you like, then you have nothing to worry about. And I would just still, recommend for you to travel to other countries so you can experience other cultures.
Right.
And not just Brazil, any other country, because you never know what you're going to like if you haven't experienced it.
Right.
And I'm talking about not only from a dating perspective, but from any perspective, based on your personal interests.
Exactly. Any final words for the subscribers or to the naysayers and the haters out there who seem they got an issue with, guys who may be exporting themselves to different countries to see to explore their options.
And what I'm saying, what are you gonna say? It's like it's just like money, right? If you're investing in the U.S. and you get a 10% return yearly, hypothetically, in whatever you're doing, why wouldn't you go to Ukraine or other country to get a better return on your investment, money-wise?
Right.
Be very freaking dumb, because that's what investors do. They invest at a global level. So that's the rationale. Again, it's not a black one. And another important point, if you don't get girls in the U.S., you're not going to get any girls here. Because the problem, then you just have to fucking study how dating works. It's not a magic pill. Because you're probably socially, you don't know how to interact with women, you need to work on that. So it's not like if you're the kind of guy who get no girls, man, you're not going to get any girls here.
Right.
there's something wrong with you. So you got to work on yourself.
Exactly.
That's an important thing to point out. It's not like you're gonna come to Brazil. It's about getting a better return, not or you're magically gonna get girls.
Exactly.
No.
And I've said this before. Steve Urkel is not gonna come down here and bang supermodels. That's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening unless he's paying for it outright. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? It's just not gonna happen. But yeah, man. Thanks for chopping it up, bro.
Yeah, you
I
got it,
appreciate
man.
you. This is my man Raphael. I'm gonna leave his link in the description. You got Instagram, right?
Yeah, I got my Instagram. You can just post there, and if you guys have any questions, just come and ask, shoot away, and I'll reply when I have time and try to help you guys out if you have any questions about Brazil.
For sure. All right, thanks, bro. Take it easy.
Yeah, man.
Peace.